With a vote on Janet Yellen's nomination to replace Ben Bernanke as the chief of the Federal Reserve is expected in the next few weeks, it's time to take a look at her journey, where it started. Ron Vincent was a Morgan Stanley broker and also high school classmate of Janet Yellen. Do you remember her, Ron?
Yes.
Because of course, like as someone kind of ascends to a position of power the way she has, you're like, I think I remember her, but did she stand out then?
Yes, she did. She really stood out. She was very active in many outside academic circles. She was in two clubs, one called the Minuteman Club, which was our history club. I wasn't in that. I was in the psychology club, and I actually thought she would grow up to be a psychologist, and I ended up going to Hunter College and getting a degree in psychology with a minor in education, and then moving on to Wall Street. But she graduated #1 in our class, so she really stood out, like you said.
Big brain.
Yes, exactly. We had 583 classmates.
The Fort Hamilton out in Bay Ridge.
And it was class of 63, Fort Hamilton High School. She was the editor of our yearbook. She was also editor of the Tower, which was the yearbook was the Tower, and the newspaper was the Pilot. She was the editor of the Pilot. She had about a 99 average, because we used to call this other girl, her name was Susan, by her nickname, which was 98.6, and she was #2. So Janet had to be above 98.6.
That's so funny. Because you spent your entire career working on Wall Street as a stockbroker. What about the importance of the Federal Reserve chief today, even because that's all I've ever covered in my career as a journalist, and I've been doing it roughly 20 years. How important today is the Federal Reserve chief compared to who it was 20 years ago or even 40 years ago?
I think it's even more important today than it was 20, 40 years ago. Our debt has never been higher at $17 trillion. My thoughts are that she will not raise rates during her 4 years. Isn't it 4 years, I guess, the Federal Reserve? During her tenure. Because, yes, you focus in on employment, you focus in on inflation, but the overriding factor is $17 trillion in debt. And if you were the CEO, where would you want interest rates to be?
Right, if you're the president, and whether people like to act like that the Federal Reserve's independent of the administration, but we historically know that the White House can put a great deal of pressure on who is running the central bank, for sure.
Yes, I agree with you.
Ron, it was great to see you. Have a great holiday season, and please come back. Ron Vincent, be well, and I hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks, I did.
Okay. All right, struggling retailer JCPenney getting booted from the S&P 500 after today's trading day, and it may be going out on a high note. Keith Blitz of Catone & Company joins us now. Nobody has anything good to say about JCPenney if you talk to them just in pure business.